Now to our special interview and a new focus tonight on a group that is so central to everything under investigation in 2016, WikiLeaks. Their founder today, Julian Assange, says he's been called for an interview with Congress, and he released a letter from the Senate Intelligence Committee that asked for an interview for the Russia probe. Please make yourself available. Top senators are not commenting. Assange says he is considering doing the interview, so now we are going to turn in a moment to one of the few Americans who's ever sat and interviewed Assange, radio host and activist Randy Credico. Roger Stone has called Credico his back channel to WikiLeaks, something we've reported on this show. Now, the last time I spoke to Randy Credico, he told me, guess what? What's happening now? He said Assange was open to speaking to congressional investigators.
I had gone there with a mandate from Assange for Mr. Schiff to go over there and interview him. I got the okay from Assange for him to do that.
What? You have Julian Assange willing to speak to Adam Schiff's committee?
Yes.
And why does Assange, in your view, want to speak to Adam Schiff?
Because he can clear it all up. He's ready to talk to Adam Schiff. If he wants to go over there, he's waiting for him.
That news broke right here on MSNBC. There was pushback from the Hill, but now we're seeing this new heat on WikiLeaks, including from something that we all learn about often after the fact. Bob Mueller has been referencing the organization in his questioning, in his work, and his new indictments of Russian hackers. Now, it doesn't call out WikiLeaks by name. It refers to it as Organization One, but you see there, over and over and over, Mueller saying Organization One WikiLeaks is key to what the Russians did. There were other connections as well. The Trump campaign had, of course, Donald Trump Jr. busted for DMing with the group. Roger Stone also exchanging messages and claiming that he had additional communication with them.
I actually have communicated with Assange. I believe the next tranche of his documents pertain to the Clinton Foundation, but there's no telling what the October surprise may be.
Stone has since walked some of that back, and then there is the candidate himself willing to take their help.
It's been amazing what's coming out on WikiLeaks.
This WikiLeaks is unbelievable.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
I am joined now by Randy Credico. You are, I will note, a somewhat controversial figure. But what you said on this news program appears to have been borne out in public now. Why is Julian Assange saying he's willing to talk, and do you think he really would talk to investigators?
Well, I think that he would, provided that the parameters are set in a way that's not unfavorable to him. And it can't be a trap. They have to treat him respectfully, and they have to do it with a lot of professionalism, not just go in there and do some kind of surprise attack.
Do you believe, as someone who's interacted with him, and you have been favorable to him,
yes,
that he will be accurate to the U.S. committees about a matter that he has appeared to prejudge and been defensive about, saying this is all garbage?
Well, I think he, listen, you have to sit down with the person. He's a very honest individual, very forthright, a man of great integrity. I think that if they work it out, it would be a real boon for this I think that you'll find out that there really isn't that much to it. At least that's what I feel.
That much to the idea that this was an espionage operation, rather than, as WikiLeaks has claimed, that however many governments are mad at it, they often upset governments by publishing material that they say is accurate.
Right.
But here he was talking to you, and we talked to you because you talked to him, Randy.
Right. The last time, by the way, was right after I did your show for the very first time. That was the last time we had a communication. He said, by the way, he can't watch your show right now. He is totally gagged. He has no contact with
internet.
outside.
What did he say that
Nothing.
time when he did speak?
He said that you are a very smart guy, and he says, do your show. He enjoys your show, but he can't watch it now.
He encouraged you to speak on his behalf on the show, which is interesting. Now, here he is talking to you, undermining basically the idea that there is something to the Russia probe. Take a look.
This whole thing about Russia and trying to vilify you as some agent of the Russians, it's complete garbage. What is your response to that?
Well, it is complete garbage. It's just complete nonsense.
So here he was in April saying that, and earlier when he did speak to Fox News, he also basically denied what has been borne out. What Mueller is charging hasn't been proven in court yet. What the intelligence agencies have asserted, that the Russians were behind a lot of this. Take a look at his denials to Fox News.
Can you say to the American people unequivocally that you did not get this information about the DNC, John Podesta's emails. Can you tell the American people 1,000% you did not get it from Russia or
Yes.
anybody associated with Russia?
Our source is not the Russian government.
Is there value in him saying that to the intelligence committees when you must admit the evidence goes the other way?
I don't think the evidence does go there. I don't think he got it from the Russians. I really don't. Now, I'm not convinced that.
Let's pause right there.
Okay, no.
Do you accept that the Russians did hack?
I'm not for sure. I'm not ruling it out that the Russians did, but I always have thought that it was a leak. I'm not for sure. No one knows for sure what it really is.
Well,
but
the
I don't
intelligence,
think
let me
that
pause you there and then I'll let you
Assange-
respond.
I will say,
the intelligence agencies have concluded
Yes.
this. Donald Trump's aides have cleaned up his denials to reassert that it happened that way. And Mueller's charged it with a lot of detail. Again, I have to be clear, as I do with all cases, it hasn't been proven in court. But if your position and Assange's position is that the original hack wasn't even the Russians, he might very well end up perjuring himself before the committee.
I don't think so. I think he's a very smart man. He's a very honest person. I think he has a lot to say. If they treat this, if they're looking to get to the bottom of this, he will be totally vindicated.
How
It's
so?
my opinion.
How so?
Because I know I've been in that embassy 3 or 4. By the way, the embassy is a very small embassy. It's very hot inside. He is under a lot of pressure. He's been there now without any communication for 5 months, 100 degrees, no air conditioning. I think that he will be vindicated. And what's the charge anyway? He didn't do anything. He's not the guy that like grabbed the stuff out of the DNC file. He just put it out there. What did he do that the New York Times didn't do, or the Washington Post didn't do, or what you didn't do,
I want to be
or
clear.
Andrew Cuomo's brother?
You're raising a valid legal defense, which is that the platform upon which the stolen material is released is not criminally culpable inside the United States.
Right.
Sure, but I want to be precise. What Julian Assange is saying in public is not that, not, hey, we're just a platform. He's saying we didn't get it from the Russians, which itself, if he says that, as you know, under U.S. law to these committees, and that's not true, that's a new problem. So
How can they
help
prove?
us go inside,
How can they
help us
prove?
go inside Julian Assange's mind. Is he trolling everyone, or does he want to come and say what he said to Fox in a legal proceeding because he's got his own legal problems already?
Well, I don't know what the legal problems are because everything seems to be secret. Clandestine charges against Julian Assange. We don't even know if they exist, and what would they possibly be?
You don't know what the legal problems are? You don't know why he's in protected status in
I
Ecuador?
know why I know why, because he skipped bail. He skipped bail, and that's the reason why they're keeping him in there until he comes out, and then they'll arrest him for bail skipping. They don't have charges that have been made public, and a lot of people don't think there are charges. Now, remember, this is not the Roman Empire, where in the Roman Empire in Rome, you had laws for Roman citizens and different laws in Macedonia and Egypt. Everybody is subjected to the same laws, the First Amendment, whether it be someone from the BBC or someone from the London Times. They get the benefit of the First Amendment. So does he.
Let me read to you from the indictment, just to make sure we're clear on this. Organization 1, this is the Mueller indictment. Organization 1 releases 20,000 emails. It says stolen from the DNC network. WikiLeaks released 20,000 emails, as is well known, July 22nd, from the DNC.
Right.
Do you have any reason, other than your affinity for Assange, to doubt this material?
I believe that stuff was released. Where it came from, I have no idea. I certainly know he did not get it from the Russians. And prove me wrong. Can you prove me wrong?
Well, I'm showing you the evidence.
Right. Well, that's not the evidence. That's something that Mueller put out there and his investigators. We don't know for sure where it really came from. I mean, you can say 17. It's not 17 intelligence community organizations that have signed off on this. That's not true. There's 3 or 4. That's all. But they really.
Well, the number you're talking about, there's the Director of National Intelligence, and there's all these other intelligence arms under the umbrella.
Actually went out
well, it's
there.
all the U.S. government.
Okay.
I mean, you're on a thin reed if what
have they ever come
you're
out?
on a thin reed if your problem is how they bureaucratically
They said the
organize
same thing
it.
about the Iraqi war, that there was weapons of mass destruction. There were 10 or 12 different organizations. Same thing about the Gulf of Tonkin. So there's reasons to doubt the intelligence community.
Look, I think for viewers who are watching you and assessing you, it is true that you are someone who over the course of your entire career has been dubious and skeptical of government assertions. Right. And sure, I think the Iraq war is one that comes up a lot on the left and the right. Donald Trump cites it. I think we all all know the differences, and we're not going to reopen all that right now.
Right.
But you have to work off the public.
Iraq war and Trump
I know you were, but you have to work off the public evidence. Has Bob Mueller called you in to testify?
They did. They actually didn't call me in. They actually showed up and they asked me to come in and do a personal voluntary interview, which I did not.
Who is they that showed up?
Somebody from his investigation.
Where did they find you?
I don't want to say where, but they found me.
But they came to you in person?
They came to me in person.
In New York?
Because I'm kind of elusive these days. You know, there are people out there saying bad things about me.
Well, you're making news as you often do. You're confirming that federal agents working for Bob Mueller came to you in New York?
Yes.
And what did they ask you?
They asked me if I would like to do well, we set up a conversation with somebody from the Mueller team, and they asked my lawyer if I would like to go down and do a voluntary interview, and he said no. You know, I didn't get a subpoena. They asked me for a voluntary interview.
Let's make sure we understand. I don't believe you've said this on air before.
Probably not.
Okay, so let's make sure we understand it, because the probe is of great interest, and you're in there as an associate, and I'm not implying anything negative about you, but as a known associate of Roger Stone and Julian Assange.
Well, don't say associate of Stone. I know Stone.
What
you know
word
what I mean?
would you?
I don't.
No,
Andrew Miller is an associate of Stone.
You're here to give your side of the story.
Right.
What word would you use?
I would say someone that has worked with Stone before, but not an associate.
A former colleague?
No, I've worked on a campaign or two with Roger Stone in the past.
A former campaign
I've known him
colleague?
16 years. I've known the guy.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like you're going up from associate, not down. When you say you're a 16-year colleague, we're looking at the
we have an
picture
LLC together. You know, I don't know. I've known him. We've gone years without talking to each other, and then he'll bring me in. He did my radio show.
Sure.
The whole year, 2016. Every month I had him on because he is great to have on television.
Randy, your radio show punches way above its weight, and you've been a political activist for a long time. I just want to be clear on what we're learning from you, and folks can make up their own mind about it. But what you're telling us tonight on your assertion is federal agents came to you in New York and asked you for a voluntary interview from the Mueller probe, presumably about Stone and WikiLeaks, correct?
Listen, here's
yes,
I'm not going to tell you specifically what they asked me for.
But those are the two main. Okay, but those are the two main reasons. As a lawyer,
there's a couple of reasons why they came to me, and I kept this under my hat for at least 6 weeks. I didn't want to talk about it because I don't want to instigate the special prosecutor.
I understand that, and we're just trying to learn facts here. But they came to you in New York for a voluntary interview.
Yes. They set up a conversation with my lawyer for the following Monday.
And your lawyer declined to make you available for a voluntary interview?
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago.
And you have not heard from them since?
No. You think I'm clear?
Do I think you're clear?
Yes.
It's not
what
my
would
job.
a great rapper say? Tell me, huh? What would Rudy Giuliani say? He'd say 5 years, 6 years, whatever. This has been one good thing about this. I do a great Rudy Giuliani.
We're not doing impressions.
Oh, I can't do that.
Well,
you know,
you do one
people
impression.
get so mad at me. I got to tell you, your followers get so mad at me when I do impressions. Like I was always waiting to do my Reagan impression.
We're not doing impressions.
I know
right
we're
now.
not. I'm doing it September 16th. I'm doing a show at the Commons in Brooklyn. I'm back into doing stand-up comedy.
You said before we go, and the news you've broken is very interesting.
Yes.
You said you had one more thing. What is it?
Yes, I do, because I watched you fill in for Rachel Maddow, and I didn't like that tie you're wearing. You wear great ties, all right? And this is from the Andy Warhol collection. Emily and Sarah Kunstler were cleaning out our old Kunstler Fund office, and this is from 1998. A special limited edition Andy Warhol
tie. And your position is this is a better looking tie than the one everyone hated.
Hey, people love those ties. They're
all right.
Really beautiful, and they're hard to get. Go to eBay.
This is very kind of you.
Yes.
We will run it through the ethics department here. I appreciate you coming by.
It was a gift from a gift.
You always seem to have something to tell us tonight. You're telling us
I had a lot more. I'll do it another
We'll do a follow-up.
Right.
You're telling us for the first time that Bob Mueller's folks contacted you, and that you believe Assange wants to talk. It's very interesting. Randy Credico, thank you as always. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.